It is 1 minute past 10 o'clock, and once again, News Tonight is here to bring you what's making headlines this very day, a day that we had the nation address. On sign language is Mogalo Mohammed, and I'm Patricia Lukoma. But first, though, let's look at the headlines. He wants all leaders to play a role in national development. Government releases 3.4 billion to address the plight of child streets. Theresa May and Macron in France for the D-Day of Veterans celebrations. And in sports, CAF President Ahmed arrested in Paris on corruption charges. News Tonight begins. Government is moving towards establishing Immunization Fund to act as a sustainable financing mechanism to handle both root and emergency immunization needs. The establishment of the Immunization Fund is provided for in the Immunization Act 2017.
Uganda spends 63 billion shillings annually on immunization, and out of this, government contributes about 20 billion, and the rest is from external sources, mainly Global Alliance for Vaccines and other health development partners. This overdependence on external financing to fund immunization activities has been described as unsustainable, thus the need to establish Immunization Fund. The establishment of the Immunization Fund is provided for in the Immunization Act of 2017, and now what remains is the formulation of regulations to operationalize the fund.
Because we know that after we attain our middle income status, there are some funding agencies that will withdraw. And among those ones include Gavi, that has been contributing a big chunk of money for this funding. And that's why government saw it very necessary to have this act in place. This act was supposed to help us to put in place the structures, the financing mechanism that is sustainable, that will assist us, especially whether you have the routine, whether you have emergency immunization in case of outbreak, so that this fund, Immunization Fund, is able to bridge any gap that we may have.
But as the country thinks of sustainable financing for immunization, the plan is being threatened by the high birth rate.
To talk about family planning, because Uganda is, my goodness, the number of children, we lose track. We lose track, the percentage. We don't even know. We just don't.
About that technical problem, we will be bringing that story within this very bulletin. Now, moving on to the state of the nation, President Yoweri Museveni has hailed the decision taken by the government years ago to deliberately invest in infrastructure as the driving force behind the positive economic growth and country continue to register. This was during his State of Nation address at Kampala Serena Conference Center, which also marked the official opening of the fourth session of the 10th Parliament. The president also challenged the opposition politicians to engage in the development of the country.
On arrival at Serena Conference Center, President Museveni inspected the guard of honor mounted by officers from Uganda Police. After a proclamation by Speaker of Parliament Rebecca Kadaga and a brief about business conducted by Parliament in the third session, the President delivered his State of the Nation address. The focus on the economy showed an upward trajectory, and expectations are that it will go by 7% in the medium term next financial year.
No European country, not even the United States, except West Germany, between 1950 and 1980, which was able to do 3.8%, has grown its per capita income at the same rate as Uganda over a period of 3 decades.
Museveni highlighted that whereas the cost of doing business has remained high, the strategic investment in the energy sector and roads will bring it down.
Per unit used to be US dollars 10.62. It is now US dollars 7.9. US cents 7.91 per unit. I intend to bring it down to US dollars, to US cents 5 per kilowatt hour for manufacturing.
The emphasis is premised on the commissioned hydropower dams like Kisimba and Karuma, which is due for commissioning, which are expected to generate about 1,700 megawatts.
The acceleration of the economic growth is partly due to the correct decision we took in 2006 of prioritizing roads and electricity. Parliament of 2006, I want to congratulate them because they listened to my advice. They are quite historical, those who were in the Parliament in 2006.
President Museveni revealed that more funds are to be allocated to the agricultural sector, which is the main employer of the country's population. The president also charged opposition politicians to steer and monitor all government progress.
When I was 21 and in DP, that's when I launched the efforts in our area there, Chiruhura. If you come there, you will find that people are no longer staying in grass-like houses. But that effort started when I was actually in the opposition. But I was able to work. If you claim that you are this, you are this, you are this, but you don't care about the income of your people, you are nothing. I'm telling you. Because you don't have to wait to be in the government to help your people. I helped my people when I was in DP. And UPC was very dangerous. It's not like here where you... UPC was very dangerous. It's not like now when you can abuse, you can shout, you can put up your legs.
Among other issues the president highlighted is the revival of Uganda Airlines. After the address, Speaker Kadaga adjourned the sitting to 13th June 2019, a day for the budget reading.
Now, government has released 3.4 billion shillings to finance activities of street children. The funds are under the supplementary budget for financial year 2018-2019. While addressing the press on government's position to handle street children in Kampala, State Minister for Youth and Children's Affairs Nachiwala Kiyinji said funds will enhance surveillance and withdrawal of children on streets.
The current estimate of children living and working on the street is over 15,000 children. These are found on streets of major urban centers of Jinja, Mbale, Tororo, Iganga, Busia, Malaba and Kampala. The influx of street children has been attributed to poverty, but to a larger extent there is a business component done through trafficking.
Nabba sente za mama. Sianzalira dala nabba nusoezi 15 n'empeta. Kampala. Nagame wali ebirungi kutuuka eno nalayo ebibi n'abaana basula street ebiragala nywenge njaye mafuta.
Mid-2018, the Ministry of Gender and Police had an operation to withdraw street children, but after 48 days, the street children returned. So government has specific allocations for street children activities, and the now KCCA ordinance on child protection that prohibits handouts to street children.
I have got what I wanted, and there is nobody now who can stop me and my team from taking off these children. So now we are ready and we have the money to get started. They will not come back because we have devised a more sustainable nature by, first of all, tracking the culprits, two, making it very hard to survive on the street by incriminating those who are perpetuating, and also to make it interesting where they have gone, that they find a better window for themselves.
Street children slow down traffic, they become violent in the night, and also end up being criminals.
The CCTV cameras will assist in looking at their formations, because they form. When they know there is pressure, they change the questions, they hide, then they come back. So they will assist us to look at where the formations are, and those monitoring rooms will communicate to the field officers to address this problem.
Meanwhile, 9 child traffickers have been arrested and committed to Moroto prison.
We managed to rescue others, run off and go to the settlements in Katwe and Kisenya, and that's another area we are going to have to deal with in our action plan, because we need to find a way of probably closing up those settlements, because they are not habitable, but people reside there. And when the children leave Karamoja, they are promised that they will find accommodation in those settlements.
There are already 130 approved homes and centers to rehabilitate and resettle street children. I'm Nafka Farida and Helen Barbara in Kampala.
Now, issues to do with Land Commission. The Commission of Inquiry into Land Matters has quizzed Haji Mohammed Weraga about the illegal sale of land situated at Block 27, Kibuga, Makerere, Kivulu. Being the key witness in the alleged sale of land in contention, Haji Mohammed Weraga was faulted for not doing due diligence before the purchase.
The Land Inquiry is investigating circumstances on the sale of 3 plots on Block 27 Chibuga, Makerere, Kivulu by children of Ephraim Lubega. The Commission grilled Haj Mohammed Weraga for not doing due diligence during the purchase.
From the look of things and from your testimony, you tried to dress up a few things to look as if that lady gave her consent, when actually she did not.
This consent on which we relied to make the purchase.
We're talking about an express consent to sell.
Being a key witness in the alleged sale of the contested land to Lawrence Mukasa, the Commission suspected that Weraga could be the genesis of the land saga.
You are the eyes and the ears of Mugisha. You are the sole agent that we know about. So if you say you don't know Mugisha, you don't know what he's doing, then that doesn't look very neat.
According to the Commission, the buyers relied more on the forged powers of attorney, ignoring the consent of parents.
That this was a mortgaged property. And the bank definitely must have done due diligence.
That's what you assume.
That
No. The consent has to be with you. You have to know whether they sought consent. You have to have it as a fact. Because if she came back later, you know now that that's a big issue. If she comes back later and says you did not seek my consent, then that becomes very problematic.
The concerned parties ran to the Commission to regain their matrimonial home illegally sold by their children. Sudat Kai, UBC.
Now, about environmental experts have decried increasing air pollution, a silent killer of 7 million people annually. Deputy French Ambassador to Uganda, Clement Nautel, says $5 trillion is lost in treating air pollution-related illnesses globally. This was during celebrations to mark World Environment Day in Moroto.
A World Health Organization report of 2016 shows that 3.8 million people die annually from household air pollution from cooking. This is mostly caused by kerosene and solid fuels, including wood, polluting stoves, open fires and lamps.
I'm surprised how our women continue to live. Our women really suffer.
Such pollution contributes 18% of brain-related illnesses, 27% of ischemic heart disease, and 20% of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Other ailments include lung cancer, standing at 8%, and pneumonia at 27%. But who could be responsible? These and others were some of the questions posed. Environmental and development experts walked 6 kilometers from Moroto Municipality to Naitakwai playgrounds to celebrate World Environment Day.
Every year, 7 million people die prematurely from the consequences of air pollution. As we speak today, 9 out of 10 people in the world breathe polluted air, even in Uganda. And this causes various diseases, respiratory problems, and allergies.
Air pollution, preventable problem. We cannot continue to ignore it. To walk the talk now.
Therefore, there is need to avoid internal pollution and keep houses in a hygienic environment.
All the houses, all the kitchens, modern kitchens, no chimney. So you will see that person gets polluted by the kitchen that you have. Solution number 1, design your houses to have, particularly the kitchen, design them to have chimneys. When you hear that our people are dying young, this may be the reasons why our people die young. Men, please ensure that our women cook in the environment.
Stunted lung growth, reduced lung infection, increased risk of asthma, and acute lower respiratory systems are effects of air pollution in children. The theme for the 2019 World Environment Day celebrations was Fight Air Pollution to Protect Human Health and Environment. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Now, Uganda Law Society has started training lawyers to handle cases on extraction of minerals and residents living in extraction areas. The Executive Director, Uganda Law Society, Nalunga Joyce, says that the increasing number of cases in extraction areas calls for training for people to know their rights on extractions.
Discovering Ugandan severed extractions in areas like Kalamoja, Bunyolo, Bulisa will require government to compensate residents living in extraction areas. However, some of the people living near extraction areas face challenges, including loss of lives, overpopulation leading to disease outbreak, pollution and land grabbing. Uganda Law Society and the Canadian Bar Association is training lawyers to handle cases arising from mineral extractions. The training will give a feedback in handling cases concerning mineral extractions, but there is need to comply with the government on mineral extractions.
It has come. We are not going back in the era of no oil and gas. So the communities need to understand that we have to tap into this wealth in order to develop Uganda. As we tap into the extractive industry, we can be able to also guard our human rights, guard our communities, and make sure that we are all growing at the same pace.
There are over 300 registered cases in areas where extraction projects are taking place in Bunyolo, Bulisa, Kalamoja and Hoima.
There's also some crime around the sector, and then there's also people that are suffering because these communities attract minors and attract artisanal. We deal with even those issues of basic justice, basic family justice. It's just that we've realized that where resources are being exploited, you find that women and children are the most vulnerable. Because the men make the decisions, they sell the land, they have people come and mine their land.
In the Albertine Graben, women, children and vulnerables are most affected.
We've had problems of delayed compensation by our women, mostly crop compensation, There are a lot of road works taking place on the oil roads, and there are no mitigation measures on the dust and so on. That is again affecting.
Some of the minerals which lead to several extractions in Uganda include gold, oil, gas, uranium, mercury, copper and others. I'm Nema Monde Deborah, reporting for UBC.
Now a bit of sad news. Taking care of 19 children is a burden, especially young age. When one has no good shelter, food and income, it becomes quite difficult. Now, the 60-year-old Ramura Kantono, resident of Wujaya Naja in Buyikwe district, lost her 9 children years back. She now lives with 19 grandchildren and is in urgent need of support.
Life is a complicated journey full of joy and tears. For every parent, it is a wish for their children to take care of them during old age. To 60-year-old Ramra Kantono, resident of Ujaya Naja in Buyikwe district, it is the contrary. Like any woman, Ramra produced 9 children who she thought would take care of her. Her dream ended halfway when all the 9 children died in an accident, while others died mysteriously. Kantono has 19 grandchildren of school-going age, but in her state, she can't afford to feed them, clothe or send them to school. Wonetha, a non-governmental organization, has responded with assorted household items.
Sleeping on ground without a mattress, without blankets, and we are like, how can we celebrate our day? We are like, we are not going to just sit in a tent and observe this going on. So that's why we have decided today to come to Buyikwe district to visit this lady who is...
Wonetha appeals for support to needy persons so that they can live a dignified life.
Due to that they have no money, they are seated at home, and this can result into early marriage, can result in early pregnancies. So to avoid this, we have to come together with the government of Uganda in that they can come and support this family.
Kantono appeals to government and other bodies for the helping hand. Kantono is just one of many old women in a similar state in different areas. Mutonyi Hilda and Tanaba Kenneth for UBC.
Right now we're going for a short break and of course return with our business segment. Stay with us.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Hello, my name is, as usual, Mr. Budget. Now, the major aim of decentralization is to bring services closer to the people. You see, majority of Ugandans are actually served by their local governments. The overall local government allocation for the next financial year is 3.8 trillion shillings. Good money, right? And 2.8 trillion shillings of this is recurrent expenditure, while 948 billion shillings is development expenditure. The big question though is this enough for local governments to bring services closer to their people? Let's find out together at the budget reading on the 13th of June 2019. Our budget, our responsibility.
This message is brought to you by CS Bag, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and URA.
Freedom City yako Yongoma! 7th chapter music na city events wakusako. Take over pare kome bere kome na mwenda. Gakulu nesi tundaba yimbi bonaba manya.
What's up? It's a boy in the Kenzo. I'm somewhere in July. Freedom City, take over party. Calvin the entertainer. You don't know.
Some we originate, some of them are imitated. It's the king herself on the 20th of July.
Mr. Semagra, Intosi, Rapidum Tuju, White Bender, King Saha, Media Jasmine, Space Dana, Ghetto Kids, Voltage Music, Maureen Antume, Fefe Busi, Livingston, Exodasa, Tim Swizzy, Sharon Payton, Robert Daba, Alento from USA, Palazzo, Chosen Blood, Vivian Tendo, Rened, Azizacion, Senga Sebanga, Topika Sente, Naira Ali, Hey Paz, Roden White, Victor Camenyo, Big Guy, Steady, Naba Ibeba Nabanji, Runechi Wanyicha Gwana Mefu, one of Let's Cover the Entertainer, Gajago Zemiaka Kumina Gumunga, Kueresa.
Calvin Jangondele, yo, what's up? I'll be performing at Freedom City on the 20th of July. Take over party.
Nakuzomweza 2 Julai, twetange ku Freedom City, ngatuwagira Calvin, emyaka 10 gumu.
In Freedom City nga 2 July, hokinga mtwalo gumu, vipi emitwalo 2, Calvin the Entertainer ye kalabalaba. Emyongiglo sawa mwendezo regulo, UBC bachivujiride, chinono chigesemo. Nga 2 July, kome 2019, Freedom City.
Welcome back. Time for business. Now, practical exams for the new academic programs in interior and landscape design and fashion by Uganda Business and Technological Examinations Board have started with 14 candidates. The assessor, Nagawa Harriet, highlights the course.
This course can really help a student to sustain him or herself from his small home, from a very small space, given the materials that some of the materials even can be got from waste paper, from waste materials, from junk, and the student turns them into a product that can be really of value of use to him or to her or to any other person. So I really go ahead and recommend that this course be pushed forward, this course be enhanced, this course be really given the mandate to take on really as one of the pioneer courses, as one of the courses in this world, in this Uganda today, that can help a student to sustain him or herself.
Now, the Economic Policy Research Center has released a new report that analyzes the status of Uganda's agricultural sector and sets out guidelines to foster agro-industrialization. The report presents a case for activating a transformative agro-industrialization initiative in Uganda's proposed national industrial policy.
When heads of state met in Maputo and Malabo, it was proposed that the agriculture sector be accorded 10% of the national budget. But for Uganda in the 2018-2019 financial year, agriculture received only 2.4% of the total budget allocation. But Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kaseja, argues that the sector is the biggest beneficiary of the 2019-2020 fiscal year budget.
Can I inform you that 10% of the budget, which I will present to you next week, in the following sectors: water, industry, rural electrification, feeder roads, UDC, NAS, UDB, NCF, is more than 10% of the total budget. And all these things, if I'm talking about water, you know what it means in agriculture. If I'm talking about industry, you know what we are talking about factories. If I'm talking about rural electrification, you understand that you need power in order to run a factory.
He was at the launch of an Economic Policy Research Center report on fostering agro-industrialization in Uganda.
It is reported the value chain is still stuck with what type of proper oil is produced. So who should integrate the researchers and extension for the farmers, for us, the farmers receive anything which is brought to us and respond.
The research report underlines the need for government to shift the country's economic center of gravity from low to high value agro manufacturing.
When you look at coffee, tea, a lot of investment at the bottom, it just needs pitching a little bit and we will get there. That is, we're talking about agro-industrialization is long term. The fisheries, a major intervention by the army has turned around the industry. We've been exporting, earning around 135 million. Now we are moving towards 180 by the intervention of the army. So those are low-hanging fruits.
In the report, unfavorable policy environment impedes Uganda's ability to exploit the domestic market, and the country has to import substantial amounts of agro-industrial products which can be produced locally. Rowena Kajumba, UBC Business.
Thank you very much there, Rowena Kajumba. Now turning to the corporate wrap-up, the East African Grain Council has launched the 9th edition of the annual Agribusiness Fair. Now the council's goal is to increase quantity and quality of food produced to ensure farm businesses remain profitable and productive. In another development, the MTN Uganda CEO Wemvan has appeared for the first time at the Bunyoro Mpango Celebration Support Initiative.
African Grain Council Agribusiness Fair, slated for the 21st and 22nd of June in Masindi, will showcase innovations and technologies and provide for policy dialogue for grain stakeholders.
The other aspect which is really critical is in the agro-processing, the value addition. And that is why as East African Grain Council, we come together as members and see how to leverage on our strengths and support, the farmers in the processing.
We developed the grain trade policy in 2015, then finalized the implementation strategy 2017, which was launched in 2018. So this activity is one of the key strategies in our grain implementation strategy for improving productivity, value addition, and marketing, as well as food security.
The grain sector plays an important role in the health of the East African region through its contribution to healthy food, food security and environmental stewardship, among others. In another development, MTN Uganda has donated 20 million shillings to the Bunyoro Kingdom to help them in the preparations for the 25th anniversary of the Mpango celebrations. This event was in Kampala and was presided over by the reinstated MTN CEO, Wim van Helput.
Bunyoro is a kingdom. We are one of the oldest kingdoms, and we have been around for close to about 1,000 years, over 3 dynasties. We have got a lot of cultural tourism, and recently I had the Minister of Tourism talking about dark tourism. We have potential for that. And today, the only way we can move them is through digital marketing, and you have the capacity, and I want to see us partnering together to promote the cultural tourism potential of the kingdom through digital and through partnering with MTN.
We recognize culture as a very fundamental part of our being, of our society, and as important as Mpango is to the people of Bunyoro. Even Bunyoro itself is a very important part of Uganda. MTN is in Uganda for various reasons. One of the things that we particularly are pleased to be associated with kingdoms for is it enables us to become part and parcel, to become intertwined in the social fabric of the people.
The Mpango celebrations are slated for the 11th of June in the Karuzika Palace, Hoima municipality. For UBC, Wadulo Markanold.
And on the forex market, the shilling seems to have improved on the pound by 4,766, that is buying, and then 4,776 selling. And then against the dollar, it is still holding strong by 3,760, that is buying, and 3,770 selling respectively. And of course, let's have the details in our preview. And in sports, all is set at Nabugabo Sand Beach ahead of the 2019 Royal Kane Regatta Final. With Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi expected for the event this Saturday, key kingdom figures have visited the site to ensure that key parameters are put in place.
Nabugabo Sand Beach in Masaka is a beehive of activity ahead of the 2019 Royal Kanu Regatta Final due on Saturday.
Twetegese okwaniza nyirimu musaza lino ng'asookera ddala wano wetuli olwaleero tukunza abantu ba Ssaabasajja Kabaka naye ab'ebuddu tebetaaga nnyo kkunga tubalagana ne Ssaabasajja Kabaka.
Buganda Kingdom officials have visited the venue ahead of the event to be graced by Kabaka Ronald Mwenda II.
We are very mindful that if we fail to protect the environment of this country, we can hardly be in position to save and secure the future generation of this country. So those are the three core values through corporate social responsibility, which we are going to premise on as we do organize, as do we celebrate the end of the Royal Kanu Regatta 2019.
All 18 Buganda Kingdom counties, locally known as Masaza, have confirmed the participation at the championship, whose organizers have passed all the boats fit for action.
Water mileage is different from the ordinary measurements. On water, we use most of the time. We are going to run around 15 to 25 minutes of play. That is 400 meters is going to take around 25 minutes. Then 100 meters takes around 12 minutes.
This year's regatta final is special for being the first out of Munyonyo and is also expected to gain prominence amongst fans.
Tuzenga tuze kuwangula banabudu mwe namba kowola omulangira Kayomba Yosefu bamweyana timu egumidde nywevu bina abasajja beboogera balimba enkasi tuzirina kampu ya fejjudde lwakuba nti tubulamu ettaffaali.
On top of entertainment by Uganda's cream de la cream of artists, the fans are also open to the treasure hunt, in which a television set and mobile phones await lucky winners. Last time out, Kabula emerged champion at the regatta, whose best is expected to bag much more this year. John Barnes, Centum, reporting.
Now, the president of the Confederation of African Football, CAF, Ahmed, has been arrested in a Paris hotel by French police on charges of corruption. According to French tabloid Jeune Afrique, Ahmed was arrested in a link to the contract and unilaterally broken by CAF with the German equipment manufacturer Puma to engage with the company's technical steel based in an LA scene Sumar. The signing of the contract, which according to the former Secretary General of CAF, Amar Fahmy, was favored by the proximity between Ahmed and one of the leaders of the French company, whose additional cost would reach about $830,000. And happenings with FUFA, Federation of Uganda Football Association. FUFA has reached a humanitarian agreement with Ministry of Gender and Social Development to empower street children aged 6 to 15, both male and female, with football skills. Humphrey Mando, FUFA Deputy CEO, explained that the children identified with the interests in playing football will be taken to the FUFA Soccer Academy in Jero.
Surveillance, withdrawal, rehabilitation, resettlement, and follow-up of street children. In line with this, the ministry has explored an engagement with the sports regulator and trainer in the country, the Federation of Football Association, to take on some of these children for sporting purposes.
All over the world is something that is very enticing and very attractive, especially to the young children. And in this case, as FUFA, we are so much rooted into grassroots football, and we try to develop the young into better people and can showcase their skills through football. Therefore, we think through our regional offices in Uganda, FUFA has 8 regional offices where we shall have homes established, starting with the one in Njeru, and where we shall be receiving these children, but they must be above 6 years of age and below 16. So when we get them, whether they are boys or girls, we still have football for both boys and girls. So we shall take them through activities of football, coaching, refereeing, so that probably in a day for a street child in a home organized by FUFA will be as easy as having a camp of football or young children in academy.
Now, in netball, Uganda Netball Federation has finally released the Netball World Cup squad. With 2 months to the tournament in Liverpool, England, all countries had availed their squads. Apart from Uganda, tension was on who should be dropped and retained, as Ngabo Emon reports.
The saying that goes old broom sweeps better than the new has applied when the Netball Federation was naming its Netball World Cup squad. The federation took long to release the final 12, despite other nations submitting names to the world body for the July World Cup event in Liverpool. It is believed that there was drama determining who makes the list and who is dropped before the decision was made. On the list, 7 players who featured at the previous World Cup were retained. Team captain Peace Proskovia, Mary Nuba, Liliana Jok, Jessica Chan are on the list together with Meme Ruth, Betty Kiza, Rachel Nanyonga, who was instrumental in the qualifiers, and Sylvia Nanyonga. The others that were retained are Joan Nampungu, Stella Oyela, Stella Namfuka, and Maimuna Namuaya.
Of course, as a person, I also feel that all the players who have made it to the 20 deserve to be in the World Cup in their capacities. So if there is opportunity for the excess 8, since you have all filed in your visa applications and you'll have the visas and you shall have the money, then it will be a dictative decision, which I will not let down if it is granted by my political leadership.
Vincent Chiwanuka is the main coach deputized by Nelson Bogere. Team Uganda continues with training at Lugogo, awaiting international friendlies. Uganda, that is in Group D, alongside England, Scotland and Samoa, will aim to finish in a better position than the 8th last time out. Ngabo Amon, reporting for Ubc TV.
And of course, that does it from us here on UBC and News Tonight at 10 in particular. My name is Patricia Lokoma, And on sign language is Mogalu Mohammed. But first though, let's have a recap on the headlines. President Yoweri Museveni wants all leaders to play a role in national development. Government releases 3.4 billion to address plight of street children. On the international scene, Theresa May and Macron in France for the D-Day veterans celebrations. And in sports, CAF President Ahmed arrested in Paris on corruption charges. Once again, thank you so much for choosing us. Patricia Lokoma and Mogalu Mohammed. We leave you with sign language for now. Good night.